Realized I needed to make a very explicit statement regarding Orak's use of the term blue balls surrounding his work at lifeboat services. I have had numerous homeless women and men come to me telling me that Ozark Orak repeatedly refers to chocolate balls in a blue wrapper as blue balls. I've heard that he says things as disgusting and graphic as, "Hey ladies, suck on these blue balls." This and other locker room style talk is what is reported. When I emailed Erin Carlson in May surrounding this inappropriate language and how traumatizing it must be to the women in the Astoria homeless community, she wrote me back saying, "Thank you for your observations. I enjoy our intelligent conversations and come back anytime," basically staggering around a violent perpetrator who also made me feel uncomfortable. Ozark Iraq went and called the Astoria Police Department to put an exclusion on me for whistleblowing his sexual innuendo around vulnerable people. I tried in my email to include as many facts regarding misconduct, discrimination, or abuse, disability abuse, as well as dangerous situations regarding ongoing criminal issues such as predatory drug pushing, sexual abuse, vulnerable women who were being exploited. So I liked volunteering. I liked doing things. I liked helping with the chairs. I liked knitting. I loved most especially speaking with the homeless about their issues and affairs. I did notice that as I became a more familiar presence in the homeless community, I became more targeted by different men in the homeless community for sexual innuendo, sexual propositioning, grabbing, groping, or unwanted touching. So that's a sad factor. And if you're going to have women involved in homelessness services, there need to be special precautions and a community culture of protection. As we can see from Ozark Iraq's harsh and punitive treatment of me for bringing this forward, he is not in any way a supportive or safe person for women who enjoy working or caring about homelessness issues to voice their concerns with. My exclusion, like that of all the other people who have been excluded, was meant to send shockwaves of fear that anyone else needed to get in line with the authoritarian regime and only say nice things about Ozark, Iraq, and Erin Carlson's programs. I believe that the use of the sexual innuendo is inappropriate and concerning. Since that time, I became more aware of a criminal history that he and his partner had been concealing from the general public. I became more aware of folklore regarding his giving meth to people in recovery, angering them, his theft of a care dog from a disabled woman, his assaulting of police, DUIs, uh, numerous counts of relating to methamphetamine, even parking in disabled spaces. So I began to look up his criminal record. I purchased his Gresham dog theft incident, care dog theft incident, and began to communicate with different agencies that may have something to do with installing accountability. Um, I do not believe that homeless women should ever be exposed to verbal sexual innuendo from a person who decides whether or not they eat. And if they complain about the sexual innuendo, he then has the power to starve them. Why is that okay with the Astoria Co-op? Why is that okay with the Blue Scorcher? Why is that okay with Sahara Pizza or whomever donates, Gaetano's Deli? Are they okay with that? They shouldn't be okay with that. I didn't have any definitive statement like, oh, he should resign or the business should shut down. I said very directly, woman to woman, Aaron Carlson, he needs to be trained. If there's hope for this situation, he needs to be trained. I could completely understand why someone who had faced that sexual innuendo might feel permanently burned on him. I know people that feel so strongly that they want him to resign and his whole operation to be shut down because they have seen it, they've witnessed it, they know that it's creepy. I've also spoken to a man who said that osarch orak almost raped his girlfriend, that he is himself a sexual predator. That does seem to be where it might be headed. So for me, I viewed it as a nip it in the butt kind of thing. The first time I heard about the blue balls innuendo from osarch orak at downtown Astoria's current incarnation called Lifeboat, it was a sort of a takeover from a very nice nonprofit filling empty bellies started by Corey Buck. But this incarnation is pretty crooked. They are very harsh and very discriminatory. They have no disability access. It's down a horrific staircase that is completely hostile to the disabled. They kick people out routinely. Ozark says, oh, don't feed that guy. And he makes his participants participate in his culture of starvation. They become his accomplices. So they're not only his clients, they're his accomplices to his brutal regimes of starving different members of the community. When I found out which women he's picking on to starve, I felt very offended that he seems to have a sick fetish for starving women, a very sick and perverse fetish for that. And it's unconscionable. I first became aware of his starvation politics in December. I found out that over a year and a half ago, he was known as the Hunger Games because of his reliance on meal denial as a form of mental torture to the homeless. Somebody who has such a cruel enjoyment of starving people should not be anywhere near vulnerable people. So the word's getting out. As for where the future is headed, I suggested to Aaron Carlson that we needed separate programs for women, like a separate safe space where women could eat without being harassed by both the clients and her boyfriend, who she evidently married, her baby daddy. And the fact that their relationship is getting in the way of her having any clarity of mind, I now view her as his accomplice, a co-perpetrator. A lot of us are quite worried about her. We don't know if she has the freedom to leave whatever he's doing coercive control wise. My email was to her. He reads her emails. My last email to her, he sent me an unsolicited email asking that I never contact them ever again. He sent me 2 snarly letters from a lawyer, overbearing, completely defiant of any listening whatsoever. He's letting me know if anyone has any complaint whatsoever, he will not listen or hear it. What kind of message does that show to any abuser? This is a safe place for you to work. You could get away with anything here. I mean, all 4 meth dealers, or is it 5? God, and what else? Oh, the unisex restrooms. Such incredible, weird stuff going on there. So I just left a message for the head of the Chamber of Commerce, just so he has kind of like a heads up. I'm trying to find the right way to reach out to the right people. Who are the right people, though, really, in this county? Oh, yeah, and how very disappointing about Kirk Wintermute. How very disappointing indeed. That Kirk Wintermute, having been on the board of the Beacon Clubhouse, possibly because he was osarch orak's defense attorney, I'm assuming, when Ozark was in for firearm possession, felony firearm possession, burglary, methamphetamine in this county, when he was fleeing his charges in Gresham for stealing a disabled woman's care dog. Kirk Wintermute, his defense attorney, is coming out at me like I am the absolute enemy. That Ozark Orak's character assassination against me has any truth validity, or even when Aaron Carlson had to my face said, "Oh, I know you're not like that." When I was like, "What's with Ozark and his like coming at me, hitting, trying to corner me?" Well, it was clear he was afraid of me when I showed Aaron the fruits of my labor that like basically one letter could like move mountains in a separate activist thing. He kind of realized, oh, ooh, got to get rid of her. I don't want her eyes on me. So yeah, you're right. You don't want my eyes on you. So kick me out. Now you can do whatever. Now you're happy. Now you can gloat walking down the street. There's a lot of bad blood out there. It's hurt a lot of feelings. It sends out, but it's also a challenge. I don't mind being the front guard. I don't mind being the front guard. It is a challenge to anyone to do anything, to do the right thing, to not allow an abusive personality to be hurting and harming so many vulnerable people. Clubhouse International on Twitter blocked me. That's how potent it is. Just block her. Joshua Stellman, this like a little convoluted 41-year-old attorney who tried to pick up where Kirk Wintermute was slipping and sliding all over the place. I just was about ready to report him to the Judicial Commission of Oregon, as well as the Oregon State Bar. That's when he backed off. He was like, oh, wait, my whole career could be on the line? I'm just trying to backroom bully you, little, earthling, like Ozark's bullying victim du jour. It was like having a bunch of men gang up on me. On behalf of what? Aaron Carlson's relentless drive to get all the credit for helping the homeless? Who are they really helping? They're helping themselves. They're paying for their mortgage. They said so on Facebook. They're homeowners. I don't know. Maybe their dad gave them the house. Whatever, their father-in-law gave them the house. I don't know. But their financial prosperity, I wish them tons of it, but not on the backs of the poor that you're treating miserably. And people don't go there. They're avoiding the drama. They're avoiding Ozark's ego. They're avoiding the paranoia. I had very specific issue with the use of the term lynch mob. I felt that Ozark Orak did not have the right to piggyback on the legacy of the civil rights struggle in the American history context and just say, oh, everybody's a lynch mob out to get me. That to me is hiding behind something he knows not. Just because you listen to reggae doesn't mean the whole world's a lynch. Just because you used to be a meth felon doesn't mean the whole world's out to get you. It was very harsh. It occurred to me that it could provoke retaliatory violence if anyone took him seriously. I think mostly everyone knows now he's a hothead with a loose mouth who doesn't know what he's talking about. And the fact that my black friend got punched down the staircase and excluded by a man who brags on his neo-Nazi tattoo, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's a lynch mob. The fact that my other black friend got kicked out, that's a lynch mob. So speak for yourself. That kind of harsh language is really hurtful. I grew up in a neighborhood where someone was lynched. A little black boy was lynched. I tried to explain that to Erin Carlson. It was like she didn't even want to... I mean, she was willing to work with me. It's really got Ozark's goat. And I'd already asked her not to have him corner me because he tried to corner me in his office. I knew where it was headed. It was a power trip. He wanted me in his office to try to do a domination on me. I wouldn't take the bait. He was reprimanded. He wasn't allowed to verbally, snipe at me for a month or so. But why did Aaron Carlson allow him the supreme retaliation of excluding me via a bogus call to the police? Why does Ozark Orak call the police on people who report his misconduct? Why? Is that okay with his donors? It shouldn't be. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, this is Clatsop County after all. For those of us who know what that